Hey guys, so this will be the easiest pour we have all year. And why is one of my guys not even putting his boots on? We'll talk about that here in a second, but you're going to get to see a couple things on this. First of all, I really want to show you why we screed the way we screed. And then secondly, you're going to see us use a vibrating bow float. You can kind of see it right there. In the head of it's got a vibrator on it. It's going to help consolidate the concrete, make bow floating real easy. Now, today what we're doing is we're hired as a sub, so we pour all the flat work, at least the residential flat work, for the people who came down and did that little concrete foundation addition. Now, this is going to be a new entryway to the house, and we're working for the people who did the concrete walls. So the builder, who's also happens to own this property, is the people who hired the foundation guys. So we're kind of like a second sub on this job, and we come down here and we just get to pour this little tiny, what is it, about 8 by 10, 8 by 12 little addition to the house. And what makes it even easier for us is, number one, we can back a truck right up to it, but we're also matching the top of the wall, so there's no forming to do or anything like that. We just pour it in, screed it, bow float it, and then we pack up the truck and we head home. We don't even have to finish this. I'll tell you why in a second. So the slump we're using is, the mix we're using today is just a 3,500 PSI. It's got mid-range water reducer in it. It's got fibermesh in it. And that's basically it. We're pouring, you can see with the mid-range water reducer, we probably got about a 6-inch slump there. Pretty good mix. We use this concrete company a lot. We're actually a little over an hour away from our shop today. We're way down on the coast of Maine in a little town called Bristol, Maine, if you want to Google that. It's a pretty cool little town way down on the coast, but it's a good little drive for us to get here. But these are normal customers, so not only is the foundation people someone we do probably 100 jobs for a year, but we also do work for the builders too. Sometimes they'll call us right direct, and we've been working for them for quite a few years also. So it's a pretty common town for us to come to. Now you can see Darin over there. Darin's the one holding the chute, and he didn't even bother to put his boots on because this thing's so small. So he'll just kind of run the chute. Luke's kind of fine-tuning the concrete, raking it around. And then, I'm magging my edges over here, and you can see Darin's already stepped out, and he's not going to even have to get back in it. Now I do have my boots on, but I didn't even step in the concrete here today. That's how small this thing is. And that's really rare for us. Rarely do we just do something small like this. Usually if there is a job like this that we have to do is, we'll go pour a concrete floor somewhere first for a house or a garage. We'll leave one guy on it or sometimes two guys on it to power trowel it. And then, one of us or maybe two of us will come do something like this as a secondary job. But because it's real early in the spring here in Maine, it's March in Maine, there's not many roads that we can drive a concrete truck on right now because the roads get all posted for weight up here. And in the spring, because the frost is coming out of the ground, the roads tend to be a little soft, so the state doesn't want the concrete trucks driving on these side roads or back roads or secondary roads, whatever you want to call them. The only roads they can really drive on are what's considered like a state road. So this driveway is right off a state road, and that was the only reason we can even pour this time of year. If this house right here was on a secondary road, we'd have to wait until about May 1st to even pour this thing. So like I said, it's the end of March right now. These guys would have to wait a whole month. So that's kind of what we're waiting for up here in Maine right now is just, at the end of March, 1st of April, when the temperatures, for the most part, the temperatures get above freezing every day. Some nights still go down below freezing. We just can't pour anything because we can't get trucks to it. Got to wait for the roads to dry out. So that's really a pain in the butt about living in Maine. And, those concrete trucks, they weigh, even empty, without any concrete in them, they weigh 30 to 40,000 pounds, and that is like way overweight, even empty. Then you start adding concrete, 4,000 pounds a yard of concrete. You can add 10 yards of concrete and have another 40,000 pounds on those trucks. We're actually lucky we got them backed across the lawn as heavy as he is. I thought for sure we were going to get him stuck, but he only really sunk in a few inches. The ground's still frozen underneath those top 2 or 3 inches of lawn, so we got lucky there. Now, if you look at the way we screed this thing, go right off top of the wall, but we keep the screed kind of tipped on the back edge a little bit. We don't saw it back and forth. We don't keep it right flat like it's setting right now and just kind of cut the top of the concrete off. We tip it on the back edge, and what that does, you know, what the pros know that the amateurs don't, is that kind of seals up the surface a little bit behind the screed. So it's going to make bow floating a lot easier. And we're not ripping and tearing the surface. By that I mean that front edge isn't digging into the concrete and kind of ripping the rocks. There's 3/4 inch size rocks in there, and those rocks will just tear open the surface and leave kind of big holes for you to fill in. So that's one thing you probably learned today if you don't do a lot of screeding, if you're new to this, if you're a DIYer, if you're a homeowner or whatever, you're trying to do something yourself. You watch as we finish screeding this, we're going to slightly tip it on the back edge, and that front edge will be tipped up. And that's the way you screed concrete, especially when you're going right off the top of something like this. Yeah, you see how we do that? And the back edge still gets it completely flat with the top of that wall. So now the next step is I'm going to grab that bow float, and I'm going to bow float this nice and smooth. And the finish of the concrete only needs to be bow floated, because what the builder is going to do, this is all he told us, he goes, I'm going to frame right over the top of that. So he's going to put down probably a pressure treated sill, 2x6 on top of that. He'll bolt it to the wall with those anchor bolts you see there. And then he's going to frame a wooden floor right over the top of this. So this is basically just what we call a rat slab or a mud slab. He doesn't, I don't know, man. They could use it for the finished floor if they wanted to. We would have finished it off a lot smoother, but that's not what he wanted. He must have to raise the grade of it up a little bit, maybe to match the floor in the house or something like that. So here's the bow float I'm using. That blue bow float is from Cadillac Concrete Products. You can find that, you know, on their website, CadillacConcreteProducts.com. But the bow float vibrator itself is from MBW Inc. And we use their power trowels. We really love their 36-inch power trowels, their high torque one. But they also made this little vibration tool that goes on a bow float, and that just, you know, when you're using stiffer slumps on your concrete, you can basically just turn that vibration on, and you can go down and back with the bow float. You'll see how I'm going to do that in a second. And it smooths that surface out really nice and just closes up any of the imperfections from screeding a lot quicker than if you didn't have it on there. And that's variable too. I can turn the vibration, you know, I can leave it on low, I can have it medium, or I can have it on high. You can see how nice that works, just down and back. I've got it on about medium vibration right now. And that's it. I don't have to go back over it if I don't want to. I'm actually going to vibrate. I'm going to bow float this both ways. I'm going to go kind of east and west, what I'm doing right now. Then I'll go north and south too, just because it's so small and it's so easy to do. And I'm not finishing it later. And that's just going to help give it a little bit smoother surface. Now, when we showed up this morning, the only thing we really had to do was we put the poly down underneath the concrete. We put the poly up on the house, make sure we didn't get any splatters up on the house. And then we'll pull that poly down before we leave. You see that vibration tool even has a little bit of a light with it too, that if you're like pouring something undercover, or if it's real dark in the morning, it just helps you see a little bit better. So from here, after I bow float this, basically all I'm going to do is I'll take my mag float. You can see my mag float sitting right on the corner. That's actually from DeWalt. DeWalt makes mag floats now. They make hand trowels, steel trowels, edging tools, margin trowels. So we got a bunch of those concrete finishing tools now that we're using from DeWalt. Actually, my gloves are from them too. I mean, honestly, that's smooth enough for what the guy wants. what I'll do is I'll just take that mag and I'll just mag out any little lines, maybe from where I pick up the bull float like that, or any little imperfections right along the edge, so the edges really match the top of the wall really good. But that's, I can be honest with you, that's going to be the easiest pour that we do all year long in 2025. I mean, look at my boots. My boots never even got dirty. I don't even have to wash them. Darin didn't have to put his boots on. Luke's the only one that got in the concrete. He worked harder than all of us. I guess we'll have to buy him lunch on the way home. Well, that'll be it for this video. So you learned a little bit about screeding. You learned a little bit about bull floating. Let me know if you got any other questions in the comments. If you want to learn how to do concrete like we do, you can join the Concrete Underground. That's my private training courses are in there. That's a monthly membership. You can stay for a month. You can stay all year if you want. It's really up to you. You just pay by the month. And you get access to me in there. You can email me. We can talk on the phone if you've got questions about certain types of concrete stuff. But the Concrete Underground is where you want to be if you want to learn how to do that just like the way we do. Thanks for watching, guys.